Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. It's me and Dom back here. We're going to go over the motion that came in today at by the defense team, and there will be more motions. And I will, once they come out, I will be reading it to you guys. But today, right now, we're going to read the motion that was submitted in regard to the jury instruction and the jury form. This is something that the jury gets before the case is closed. Once both party rest and both party do their closing argument, and the jury is being instructed by some of these items on here. So the first thing is the defense is going to submit theirs, and then the prosecutor is going to submit theirs, and this is going to assist the juror in making the decision, and it's going to give them some instruction, some definition, and things like that. So Dom is going to go ahead and read it while I put it up on the screen right here. Let me just go ahead and share my screen, and I will have my wonderful little buddy over here take care of that. Hold on a second, y'all. Just one moment. I gotta pull it up. Okay, hold on. Okay, got it up, and let me close everything else out. I gotta close everything else out here, and then just have that one up. Just bear with me a second, and I have everything closed, and now I'm gonna go here and share that with you guys. Okay, here we go. All right. Dom, you ready, darling? Dom, you ready? Can you hear me? Dom, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I was talking. My bad.
All right, guys, y'all ready? All right. Hey, everybody. I didn't get a chance to say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat. Let's get going because I don't want to stay on this thing too long because tonight we're going to go back to our reenactment. But here it is. Dom is going to be reading it right now. Go ahead, Dom.
Okay, what's up,
I'm going to
everybody?
mute
What's
myself,
going
okay?
on?
I'm going to be muted.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, what's up, everybody? So this is today's motion from the defense. So it says, okay, United States versus Robert Kelly, criminal docket 19286. Dear Judge Donnelly, the defense submits this letter motion seeking an amendment of the proposed jury instructions. The defense recognizes that the court directed the parties to submit joint proposed instructions. However, after a review of the testimony elicited at trial, the defense submits that the proposed amendments are required. Request number 16/Racketeering Act 1. With respect to the Illinois statute for bribery, the proposed instruction currently reads, Illinois Criminal Code Section 533-1A provides in pertinent part that a person commits bribery when, with intent to influence the performance of any act related to the employment and function of any public officer or public employee, he promises or tenders to that person any property which he is not authorized by law to accept. The government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt each of the following elements. First, that the person the defendant sought to influence was a public officer or a public employee. Second, that the defendant caused another person to promise or tender property to the person the defendant sought to influence. And third, that the defendant did so with the intent to influence that the defendant did so with the intent to influence the performance of any act related to that person's employment or function as a public officer or public employee. However, the pattern jury instructions given by Illinois courts provide 3. Pattern jury instruction criminal 21.11 database updated. Okay. Bribery. So 21.11 definition of bribery official. A person commits the offense of bribery when he 1. promises or tenders any property, personal advantage, to a public officer or public employee or juror or witness with the intent to influence the performance of any act related to the officer's, employees, or jurors or witnesses' employment or function. Or 2, promises or tenders any property or personal advantage to one whom he believes to be a public officer, public employee, juror, or witness with intent to influence the performance of any act related to the employment or function of a public officer or public employee or juror or witness. Or 3, promises or tenders any property or personal advantage to another person with intent to cause the other person to influence the performance of any act related to the employment or function of the public officer, public employee, juror, or witness. Or 4, receives or retains or agrees to accept any property or personal advantage, knowing that the property or personal advantage was tendered or promised with intent to cause him to influence the performance of any act related to the employment or function of a public officer, public employee, juror, or witness. Or 5, solicits or receives or retains or agrees to accept any property or personal advantage pursuant to an understanding that he shall improperly influence or attempt to influence the performance of any act related to the employment or function of a public officer or public employee, juror, or witness. The term public officer means a person who is elected to office pursuant to statute to discharge a public duty for any political subdivision of the state. The term public officer means a person who is appointed to an office which is established and the qualifications and duties of which are prescribed by statute to discharge a public duty for any political subdivision of the state. The term public employee is a person who is authorized to perform an official function on behalf of and is paid by any political subdivision of the state. The term tender means any delivery or proffer made with the requisite intent. And then it says committee note, instruction and note approved January 26, 2018. When paragraph 1 is used, give instruction 21.12. When paragraph 2 is used, give 21.12a. Paragraph 3 is used, give instructions 21.12b. When paragraph 4 is used, give instruction 21.12c. When paragraph 5 is used, give instructions 21.12d. Therefore, according to the Illinois pattern and jury instructions, the person charged pursuant to the statute has to either promise or tender property or promise or tender property to another person with the intent to cause the other person to influence the performance of official act. This is further illustrated by additional guidance provided by the Illinois pattern jury instructions. For example, 21.12, issues in bribery, official. To sustain the charge of bribery, the state must prove the following propositions. First proposition, that blank was a public officer, public employee, juror, or witness. And second proposition, that the defendant promised to tender or tendered to blank property a personal advantage. And third proposition, that the defendant did so with the intent to influence the performance of any act related to blank's employment or function as the public employee, officer, juror, or witness. If you find from your consideration of all the evidence that each one of these propositions has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant guilty. If you find from your consideration of all of the evidence that any of these propositions has not been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant not guilty. At the instant trial, the government called Demetrius Smith regarding the bribery charge. On direct, Mr. Crackrock testified that he alone offered money to another person, that Mr. Kelly was not present when he discussed anything about money and that he received the money from another person and not Mr. Kelly. On cross-examination, Mr. Crackrock was asked, question, okay, now Robert never had anything to do with bribing anyone to get a marriage license. Am I correct? And his answer was, no, he didn't. The count related to bribery should be dismissed. If the court, however, decides to submit the charge to the jury, it is clear that the government's theory is that the bribery was conducted through an intermediary. 21.12b, issues in bribery, official through an intermediary. To sustain the charge of bribery, the state must prove the following propositions. First proposition, that the defendant promised or tendered property or personal advantage to blank. And second proposition, that the defendant did so with the intent to cause blank to influence the performance of any act related to the employment or function of the public officer, public employee, juror, or witness. If you find from your consideration of all of the evidence that each one of these propositions has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant guilty. If you find from your consideration of all of the evidence that any one of these propositions has not been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant not guilty. As illustrated in the Illinois pattern jury instructions, there are only two propositions. The proposed instruction would improperly provide three propositions. However, as demonstrated above, in any scenario, the defendant would have to tender property directly to the person bribed, or tender property to a third person, with the intent to cause the third person to influence the official act. The second part of the proposed instruction in this case currently reads, second, that the defendant caused another person to promise or tender property to the person the defendant sought to influence. And, however, that is not a proper reading of the statute, nor would it appear to be an instruction that would be given pursuant to the pattern instruction. The defense submits that the jury instructions in the instant case regarding the Illinois statute should be guided by what the Illinois state legislature intended and what is properly given by Illinois state court. The defense respectfully requests that the instruction be amended so that it reads that the defendant either promised or tendered property to the official actor, or promised or tendered property to a person so that he or she could influence the official actor. California Health and Safety Code 1, Penal Code 120-290. With respect to the California Health and Safety Code, Penal Code 120-290, the proposed instruction currently reads, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt, first, that the defendant knew he was afflicted with any contagious, infectious, or communicable disease. Second, that the defendant exposed himself to Jane Doe 5 by engaging in unprotected sexual activity with Jane Doe 5. Third, that the defendant acted willfully. And fourth, lastly, that the defendant did not inform Jane Doe 5 that he had a contagious, infectious, or communicable disease and obtain her consent to expose himself in these circumstances prior to engaging in the exposure. However, the text of the statute actually provides A1. A defendant is guilty of intentional transmission of an infectious or communicable disease if all of the following apply. A. The defendant knows he or she or a third party is afflicted with an infectious or communicable disease. B. The defendant acts with the specific intent to transmit or cause an afflicted third party to transmit that disease to another person. C. The defendant or the afflicted third party engages in conduct that poses a substantial risk of transmission to that person. D. The defendant or the third party transmits the infectious or communicable disease to the other person. E. If exposure occurs through interaction with the defendant and not a third party, the person exposed to the disease during voluntary interaction with the defendant did not know that the defendant was afflicted with the disease. A person's interaction with the defendant is not involuntary solely on the basis of his or her lack of knowledge that the defendant was afflicted with the disease. Part 2. A defendant is guilty of willful exposure to an infectious or communicable disease if a health officer or the health officer's designee, I guess, acting under circumstances that make securing a quarantine or health officer order infeasible, has instructed the defendant not to engage in particularized conduct that poses a substantial risk of transmission of an infectious or communicable disease, and that the defendant engages in that conduct within 96 hours of the instruction. A health officer or the health officer's designee may issue a maximum of 2 instructions to a defendant that may result in a violation of this paragraph. A. The defendant does not act with the intent required pursuant to subparagraph B of paragraph 1 of subdivision. B. If the defendant takes or attempts to take practical means to prevent transmission. C. Failure to take practical means to prevent transmission alone is insufficient to prove the intent required pursuant to subparagraph B of paragraph 1 of subdivision A. D. Becoming pregnant while infected with an infectious or communicable disease, continuing a pregnancy while infected with an infectious or communicable disease, or declining treatment for an infectious or communicable disease during pregnancy does not constitute a crime for purposes of this section. E. For purposes of this section, the following definitions shall apply. 1. Quote, conduct that poses a substantial risk of submission, end quote, means an activity that has a reasonable probability of disease transmission as proven by competent medical or epidemiological evidence. Conduct posing a low or negligible risk of transmission as proven by competent medical or epidemiological evidence does not meet the definition of conduct posing a substantial risk of transmission. 2. Quote, infectious or communicable disease, end quote, means a disease that spreads from person to person, directly or indirectly, that has significant public health implications. 3. Quote, practical means to prevent transmission, end quote, means a method, device, behavior, or activity demonstrated scientifically to measurably limit or reduce the risk of transmission of an infectious or communicable disease, including but not limited to the use of a condom, barrier protection, or prophylactic device, or good faith compliance with a medical treatment regimen for the infectious or communicable disease prescribed by a health officer or physician. F. This section does not preclude a defendant from asserting any common law defense. The statute also provides 2. A defendant's medical records, medications, prescriptions, or medical devices shall not be used as the sole basis of establishing the specific intent required pursuant to subparagraph B of paragraph 1 of subdivision A. Initially, the defense respectfully requests that the court require the government to indicate whether the claim is that Mr. Kelly intentionally exposed others or that he willfully exposed others. Further, the defense respectfully requests that the court provide an instruction that the defendant does not act with the intent required pursuant to the statute if the defendant takes or attempts to take practical means to prevent transmission. The defense also respectfully requests that the court provide an instruction that failure to take practical means to prevent transmission alone is insufficient to prove the intent to transmit a communicable disease. So that's the important part right there, guys, the intent, okay? Knowingly, willfully, intent.
But you know,
California,
the other thing too, Dom, he did go take precaution by getting the medication, so it's no
right,
willfully intent. So, okay, sorry.
exactly. Okay, California penal law sections 261.5A and 261.5B. The statute provides statute 261.5A. Unlawful sexual intercourse is an act of
He
sexual
put my
intercourse.
stuff in there. He put my stuff in there. Let me shut up. Okay, okay, okay. Keep reading.
You
Sorry.
did?
You
Oh,
know he
okay.
did.
Okay. The statute provides statute 261.5A. Unlawful sexual intercourse is an act of sexual intercourse accomplished with a person who is not the spouse of the perpetrator if the person is a minor. For the purposes of this section, a quote minor end quote is a person under the age of 18 years old, and an adult is a person who is at least 18 years of age. B, any person who engages in an act of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor who is not more than 3 years older or 3 years younger than the perpetrator is guilty of a misdemeanor. The defense respectfully requests that the court provide the following instruction. Mistake of fact. Reasonable mistake by the defendant as to the age of the minor is a defense.
Boom.
This
Boom.
this this defense applies if the defendant held a reasonable belief that the minor was at least 18 years old at the time of the sexual intercourse. Authority. People versus Hernandez, 61 Cal 2D 529 539 39
Okay, okay, okay. Could we take a
1964. Yeah,
pause right now?
yeah. Go ahead.
Tom, I just want to take a pause right now. Did we not talk about this, y'all? And I said how the reasonable that was because she was going to school. She didn't go to school throughout the whole time she was here with him in California. So it was reasonable for him to think that she was 18 because you're not in school, right? Right. Okay. Sorry.
Man, that's
Boom,
crazy.
boom, boom. Thank you, y'all. See, I'm a smart
Damn.
cookie, am I not?
And the defense hasn't even started their side, so which is crazy. So anyway, sorry. Okay, so authority, People versus Hernandez, 1964. Quote, there can be no dispute that a criminal intent exists when the perpetrator proceeds with utter disregard of or in the lack of grounds for a belief that the female has reached the age of consent. But if he participates in a mutual act of sexual intercourse, believing his partner has to be beyond the age of consent with reasonable grounds for such belief, where is criminal intent? In such circumstances, he has not consciously taken any risk. Instead, he has subjectively eliminated the risk by satisfying himself or reasonable evidence that the crime cannot be committed. If it occurs that he has been misled, we cannot realistically conclude that for such reason alone, the intent with which he undertook the act suddenly becomes more heinous, end quote. The court in Hernandez reversed a conviction for statutory rape, wherein the complainant was 17 years old and 9 months, and the accused had a good faith belief that the complainant was over the age of consent. Sidebar 1, Judge Sterling Johnson Jr. provided a jury instruction on a good faith defense in United States versus Mensa, 19 CR 60. 2, Hernandez was superseded by statute 261.5D only regarding sex with a minor under the age of 14, and that is not applicable to the instant case. Verdict sheet. The defense respectfully requests that the court amend the verdict sheet so that the choices read not guilty, not proven, guilty, not guilty, guilty, and not proven, proven. The rationale for such an amendment is obvious. The defendant is presumed innocent. To require the jury to surrender that presumption to first consider guilt in order to go back to a consideration of whether the defendant is not guilty is confusing, may shift the burden of proof, and denies the defendant the true presumption of innocence. Respectfully submitted, Calvin H. Scholar, all counsel. And then at the bottom it said, sidebar 3, Judge Sidney Stein made such an amendment in United States versus Brian Duncan et al., 18 CR 289, trial transcript dated May 20th, 2019 at page 1601 and 1602. There you have it. It's Fig, yeah. That's what I call him, and I have every right to call him that. I appreciate it, though. Can't hear you, Sylvia. But so what do you guys think about that motion? What is your guys' thoughts on that? So basically, I'm gonna just wrap it up. I'm gonna just sum it up in a brief synopsis. Basically, they filed the motion, being obviously technical. They're using the case laws and what's legal, what's not illegal. For one, regarding the herpes, he had to knowingly. Obviously, he knew he had herpes. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He knew he had herpes. He had the doctor. He was getting the medication, going to the pharmacy. That's not the point. If he has it or not, he has it. Okay, that's not that's not dispute. The point is that he knowingly did not tell these women that he had it. That's the quote unquote crime that they're trying to say. And so once again, the defense, they wrote in this motion, saying that basically there's no proof of that he did not tell these people. That's what I gathered from that portion. And then the next portion is of him not knowing if you're a minor or you lying about your age being a minor. If you come to me and you say you're 21 but you're really 16 and I have sex with you, and in my mind I'm thinking you're really 21, and then it finally comes out like, oh, I'm 16, then you can't hold that person responsible, because in their mind they were thinking that you were actually of age. So that's what the next part was, regarding that. But essentially they're obviously doing a lot of the case, the legal stuff. But that's what I gathered from that one. And then the last part was they wanted, to clear up the part with the jury. They want it to be, the four parts rather than just guilty, not guilty, because it might throw them off. It could confuse them. And so they want to be more specific. That way it's not, there's no mix up. And then, you might put guilty or you might put not guilty. And then that might not even be what they're thinking, because of, all the wording and all that type of stuff. So that's what I gathered from that. So,
Hey y'all.
who's that? Oh, what's good, Spitfire?
I'm good. I'm good. I just came in. I've been missing everything. I am so sorry. My
It's all
mother's
good.
move my mother's moving. Y'all, I'm so tired. When I say When they put the bed up, I collapsed on her bed and went to sleep. I just woke up.
Oh wow.
I woke up when you was reading this the motion. And I was like, I think you was like, I caught the last 10 minutes of it, maybe. And
Right.
when I say I've been tired, and then Sylvia had Gloria on there, Gloria Rodriguez, counsel on there. I missed that. I just been, oh my God, you guys, I apologize. I'm so exhausted. I'm
Hey,
so tired. Then I
gotta handle your real, personal life. It's all
I
good.
know. Yeah, that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? So I tried
You
to
know.
squeeze a live in earlier today, and then I still had to rush out. And I was like, dog, I'm missing everything. And I said, every time I get busy, that's when something jump off. That's when
Hmm.
something jump off. But that was, I just came on to say, Sylvia, I'm so proud of you.
I
I'm
don't
so
know if
proud of
she's
you.
there. I'm not sure.
Is she
But
there?
yeah, I
Yeah,
feel you. She done a
I'm
great
so
job.
proud of her. You guys, like literally, I am. I'm proud of her because I'm proud of her how her channel growing. You know what I'm saying? We went through everything with this channel growing. Everything. The woos, the ups, the downs, the mistakes, everything played out in front of everybody and it's growing. And that's growth. That's growth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to
Right.
continue to ride with her. I want this channel to blow up. I really do. More so than
Right.
mine, because I don't plan on being on YouTube for long. I'm here
Right.
for a reason, but this channel I want it to grow and to blossom beyond. You know
Right.
what I mean? She's really working with it. But so uh I seen you the other day. I caught you late the other day. You was on Angie's channel or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was over there, trying to
yeah.
give him
You
some
guys
game.
were playing jury, I think.
Right. Well, no, no, not me. Not me. I was asking her where did she think it stood at that particular time? Not
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But
You
yeah.
was thinking, and she was telling you why because they
Right.
testified to that or something.
Right. Breaking down each charge and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
and she's
yeah.
like, well, they testified to that, and they proven that, and they prove. I don't think they prove all the stuff that she was saying. That's just my thing.
Right.
I
Right.
still, love her. We agree to disagree or whatever, but I just think, I don't think they. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I could be. We all could be, but we know that this is a Me Too era. We know this. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We know what we're up against. We know that this man is innocent, not based on us being just supporters, not based on some of us being fans, but based on the admission on the stand by the government's witness. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like your witness get beat down like that and get crossed up like that on simple things. And here's what, as a juror, here's what I would take into consideration more so than anything. They can do all the case laws, case studies. I'm talking about from the prosecution and the defense. They can do all of that. But the one thing as a jury that I would take into account, really realistically, is what the accused, because the burden of proof is not on R. Kelly. It's on the government. And the government is going by what the accusers are saying. So whenever Kenneth comes back and asks some questions and they can't remember, and it's things that you have said, you as the accuser, not the prosecution, even if they prepping you, not what you saying someone R. Kelly has done to you, what you allege these crimes and claims. And when he comes back and asks you questions you can't remember, you didn't remember writing this, but it's your signature, you don't remember what you said. If it's the truth, and and it comes out of your mouth. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to recognize what you said. You would know. But when they look at their own statement and can't remember what it is that they actually have said out their mouth, and you made the claim, that would be a done deal for me. Not just one accuser, but many of them done that. And the purpose of that will be because you are the prosecutor's witness. You're the one made these claims. You're the one who went to them and signed this affidavit of statement saying that these things allegedly was done to you while you was in the company of the defendant. And yet you can't remember anything. The fact that one of the accusers um, implemented her parent when now let's just think of this like this, and I don't care what the people say, whether it's me too or not. You implement your own parents. Now, parents cannot consent for their children for sex, no. But one of the things you can testify to me is that your mother pretended to be you. Your mother lied about the age for you, and your mother uh, dragged you out of town to be with this man. Not the fact that when he said, when he found out I was 17, he shipped me back. And your mama shipped you back. Now, these things have to be magnified into the jury's brain and to keep it in the forefront. Because nobody, and you talk about reasonable doubt. That is reasonable doubt. If I told you guys before they even did this, and I feel like I am bias free, even though I am pro R. Kelly, because I felt that the way that they arrested him was wrong. But I was open to my mind being changed. I really was. But you cannot tell me that your child, you're underage, so you claim, is gone for this length of time, and you don't know where they are. I cannot get that around my head. If they had arrested some parents with this, if they had did some of that, I probably would have been like, well, I don't know. You know what I
That's
mean?
exactly what I said.
I
I
probably
said,
would have been like, I don't know. But when you refuse, and I'm not talking about, oh, we do it after the fact. No, co-defendants. If you're going to get everybody, you got to get everybody. When
that's what
you
I said.
separate him as our Robert Sylvester Kelly, you're separating the artist. You taking down a big man. He the golden goose. And that's not fair. That's not right. If you really cracking down on sex trafficking and exploitation, and let's just keep it real, you will get everybody,
And that's exactly what
especially.
I said on Angie's the other day. For example, I gave an example with the bribery charge, for example, right? They said that, well, there was five moving parts, part of that bribery charge, that allegedly knew or committed the crime, right? Obviously, it was R. Kelly. They're saying he did it. He's the one who actually got married. Then they said it was Demetrius who drove and bribed whoever. Then Demetrius said it was McDavid. And then we know now that the two pastor guys. So that's right there, five people that played a part of that. Why aren't they all charged with bribery? You see what I'm saying? So, and then they say, oh, well, we just want to cut off the head of the snake and this, that. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You need to hold all of those, charge all of them. You charge R. Kelly, so why aren't you charging them? And
And then
so
they
that's what
say,
I have an issue with. You
yeah,
can't
and
just
then they
charge him,
say,
but no one else.
but
That's
see,
not
then they
fair.
say why this RICO was established. I remember saying that because they wanted
Right.
to get the big wigs, okay? But in order back in the day when they was and it was for mafia things like bribery, extortion, takedown, blackmail, wire fraud, kidnapping, murder, all these things that mafias do, right? And so you want us to believe that his career didn't exist. You want us really to believe, you want me people around the world to believe that his career was a facade for a mafia thing. Because here's the thing, you where's the money? Okay, let's get, because a majority of the time, mafias do things for financial gain and power, but mostly for financial gain. Because without the money in the bad world, without money, that limits the power, right? Because you got to pay people to do the things you want them to do, right? So where is the money? The money comes from singing and traveling around the world. That's not a crime. So what is the motive? Oh, and for the intent of young girls. Well, there were women that was even older than them that was with them. So that there puts a doubt there. He didn't marry nobody significantly younger either. So that puts a doubt there. Those are so many factors that put a doubt in this man's life that he was actually running a criminal enterprise. You know what I mean? overnight. Now, they
Right.
talking about some with uh sexual sex. He didn't tell anyone that he had a disease. Well, if that was the case, then everyone who catch a disease will be charged with not telling someone that they got it. But not only that, convicting someone of this crime, of like this, these were his girlfriends. So he's not like the other guy that got went to jail last year for affecting so many young black girls with AIDS and they were underage. This is not that. What this is these were his girlfriends. These were his girlfriends. And even say for instance he didn't let them know anything about it. They got sick at some point in time. Their body was starting to reject themselves to where they admitted and testified on the stand that they were sick and they got medical treatment. Now, at this point, when he gave you medical treatment because you said you were hurting when you was trying to have sex, he gave you medical treatment that he paid for, right? To find out what was wrong with you. Then you said, "Well, I got
Right.
hurt," but you stayed. You stayed. You get
But
what I'm saying?
honestly though, spitting fire, I'm just gonna be very real with you. I still believe if he were to say to a girl, a woman that he before they even have sex, I have herpes. I really believe, and he says, look, I have herpes, but I'm taking medication for it. These women will still fuck with him. So
Yes, they
I'm just
would. Like
confused as
Usher.
to
Like
why
Usher.
why
Like
would he
Usher.
hide that?
Dom, your language,
Oh,
dude.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Dom.
sorry.
Oh
My
my
bad. My bad.
God.
Now you
My
come
bad.
back to be the police. I'm sitting up
I'm
here giving you
sorry.
praise on your channel, and you won't say nothing. Soon
I'm
as Dom
sorry.
said the F bomb, you come back
It
first.
was an accident. Sheesh.
I'm sorry, Spencer.
I'm
I was
sorry.
I wasn't on. I came in when he said the F bomb.
I'm
You
so
know
sorry.
what? I give you all this praise and accolades
Hey,
on why your channel is growing. Oh, you gone. You missing in action. Soon as somebody come back and say a cuss word, she coming in there with her
no,
big.
spin fire. The best way to get her attention if she goes missing, start playing some music. She'll pop up real
Don't
quick.
you do that.
Or
Don't you
say
do
a
that.
cuss word. You calling
Or
in,
a
she
cuss
coming in.
word.
Yeah, she coming in with
She'll
a
pop up.
karate.
My bad. I didn't mean to do that. It was just that's just how my
Yeah,
apologies.
and you be talking, and you just, and sometimes a cuss word come out because we cussers, right? And you're sitting up there talking, ain't thinking nothing of it. She'll catch it. She'll do a karate kick on you in a minute. You'll be like, well, dang.
Right. But my
But you,
point was is that sorry, I still think if he were to say like, "Hey, I have herpes, I'm taking medication for it," women would still stay. Period.
But
they
do you know
would.
do you know people still who have herpes out there still having sex and still having relationship?
Yeah, it's
Don,
not dead. Like it's not like it's not AIDS. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Don, you are so correct. You
I
are
mean,
so
it's
correct. Because let me tell you, Don, when I say you are 1,000% correct plus 10, I'm telling you, listen. If the man got if the man got herpes and they got herpes for one dime, he gave them treatment when they did and they stayed anyway to continue. And then they talk about all this group sex they was having, they was spreading it too. So you is an accomplice to what you saying that he did to you. Then you said, well, he made us do it. One girl said she wasn't into it and she left. Why you felt you had to be? Like people is so weak to the point to where people is so weak to the point. I'm sorry if I'm loud, and I'm a new neighbor over here. Oh Lord, my mother is anyway. People is certain to the point to where it's so funny how you can sit up here and have sex with somebody and do all these things, and the person who is bigger than you and the megastar is at fault. Why aren't these women at fault? Why wasn't there because they they accused him of giving them a sexually transmitted disease? Why weren't they sex partners or who they sex background wasn't admitted? It's not, I understand about the Victims Act, but the Victims Act to me, from what I read, pertains to rape. This is not that. So why aren't there uh past behaviors and partners are not questioned? You know what I mean? Like why? It doesn't even make sense. It
And
doesn't make
see,
sense at
to
all.
your point, Spitfire, I would have as the defense, I would bring in, experts or whatever to show that it doesn't take 12 times for you to come back to realize, oh, this is wrong. It does not, maybe once or twice, but 12, 10 years and times and all, I just don't believe that it takes that many times to
But,
realize whatever is happening is wrong. It just doesn't.
and I'm gonna tell you another thing that would get me to make a not guilty verdict. I don't even have to listen to the whole entire case. When Joronda came on there and said that she sued him for 1.5 and testified that she tried to give the money back, I'm done. That's that. I'm done. I'm so done with these people. I would be done if I was a juror. If I was a juror, I would be done. Because right there, that's not even just the fact that you a victim. You just dumb. You just dumb. And the fact is, you said, and I said it on my channel the other night. You said that you were underage, right? And you sued them. So you were smart enough to get the 1.5 million, but you couldn't collect it until you reached the age of 18. But when you get 18, you try to give the money back. So you were smart when you were younger then. Is that what that's saying?
Right.
Somebody tell me something. What is that saying to you? So you mean to tell me when you were 16 or 17 or whatever, when you sued them, you did something, you were smart, right? So when you get 18, you become dumb. And this supposed to be the age of maturity that everybody in the law saying that we had to wait for. I'm just
Right.
keeping it above.
And I'm just, I have to say this. I'm really just, because I'm reading the chat, like, I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I love R. Kelly too, but he has herpes. Like, I'm not gonna get into that. He has herpes. The doctor said herpes, herpes, herpes. It doesn't matter if it was a positive, negative. The medication he gives him, you could say it's for zits.
Okay,
It's
we're not even
for,
here
that's what he
to
has.
debate that,
Okay.
y'all.
Yeah. So let's
We're
just,
not here to
come on.
debate that because then we're going to get bad at each other. We don't want to do
Yeah.
that. That's
No,
safe
it's
for
all
that.
good. Yeah. So let's just, come on. But go ahead, Spitfire. My bad.
Well, the thing of it is, it's not the fact, it's not even just that. It's that for one, you have to have um when you transmit a disease like that, and to figure out who was the one who holds the aggressive, disease or whatever. I think what they used to call, I forgot the science terms of it, but anyway, there's ways that they can do that. And without knowing that, without an actual blood test done, then you can't really say that.
I
Because
get it.
you can say, well, then there's some case that if he's taking Beltrax because he has the, H word, and I know I don't have it, and I just had shingles, and I was taking Beltrax, and shingles can come back again.
Yeah.
And shingles come into different parts of your body. Shingles come because I had it under my arm and the lymph nodes. And if you really look at a video I made a month ago, and even with Sylvia, I think Sylvia was on my live that day. I was like, oh, my chest hurt. And this time I didn't know what was going on. I said, y'all, my chest is hurting. And it kept hurting me so bad. I ended up going to the doctor a couple days later. I went to the doctor. She said something about I pulled the muscle. Finally got into my primary care because I was in so much pain. She's like, "Oh, you got the shingles," and my friend was getting on me about taking the shingles vaccination or whatever. I was like, "Look, I'm not taking all these doggone vaccinations, right?" And sure enough, I was like, "I'll be doggone." So I had chickenpox when I was younger, okay, and it lay dormant. And now as I got close, and they lay dormant for many decades. Well, that's been over almost close to 5 decades, 3. I'm mistaken the 3, okay, that's how old I am. And uh, I'm sitting up here like, wow. And it's spreading all
I'm
over.
fire.
It's spreading all over
I'm
my right side, my shoulder area. Okay.
fire.
Huh?
Hold on. She's
I,
talking. Let her finish. Please,
I,
Travel World, let her finish. I was listening to what
I
she was
just
saying.
got one thing to say. I just got one thing to say, and then I'm off. Okay, look about this herpes thing. Okay, say for instance, he had it, and he did give it to one person. Okay, you can get herpes just by kissing each other or whatever. So maybe they passed it along to each other. They can't all say he gave it to me. You probably got it from Geronda, or you probably got it from Ashley. Whoops, I'm sorry. You probably got it from that person or that person.
Well,
He
they
didn't.
did say he did, and Geronda did do a lot of sucking. So if you had a cold sore on your mouth, you can. Let me
That's
tell y'all
funny.
something. Now let me tell y'all something that you don't know. You can have a cold sore, and you can go to the bathroom and wipe yourself down there, and you can transmit that cold sore to genital herpes. You can do that.
Bottom
Whoa.
line,
And it's
bottom line, they
and
still
Yeah.
have to prove that he knowingly said did
yeah,
not
but
tell them.
So
no, what
That's
I'm
it.
saying, John, what I'm
That's
saying
it.
is, if one of these people go have cold sores daily, some people cold sores flare up when they get sick. Some people cold sores flare up whenever, right? But if one of those people that does have actual cold sores on their lip, and they gave him oral, we don't know. Hold on, y'all. I gotta take this call. I'll be back later.
okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could have passed it to each other, and like Dom, I believe you said is that he was giving them medication. Actually he didn't know what it was for. He just because he was hurting and she was hurting, and the doctor prescribed him up something. You know what I'm saying? So
I just
no,
it's and that's not like I said, that's not the argument. You know what I mean? Like we he has it. That's just I don't want to get into that. He has it. The bottom line is they still have to prove that he knew he had it, right? He was getting medication. He
right,
knew he had it.
right.
Period. Period. And you can say it's for whatever. He has it. They have to prove that he did not tell them, okay, I don't have herpes and I'm sleeping with you. That right there, that's the crime that they're saying. It's the intent and knowingly, willfully that he did not disclose that to them. That's the crime.
Well,
And
he definitely
according to the
cannot
doctor,
prove that.
according to the
They
doctor,
cannot prove that.
he did disclose it to them according to the doctor because that's why he went and got the medication.
Like they cannot prove it's their word against his. How they gonna prove that? Just like with the Aaliyah thing, she said they didn't. He say they didn't, but they just gonna make it be. Yeah, they did. They did. You know, some bull crap. That pisses me off, man. Sylvia,
Yes.
yeah, did everybody leave me?
Nah, I'm here. It
Yeah,
had
yeah.
ended,
You
but
you 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 threw kicked everybody off.
you
I
crazy.
can't do that.
Nah, it's
But
all
that,
good. But yeah,
that
that's
totally
just
pisses
bottom
me off.
line. You know, it's the intent, and that's the issue that they can't prove that is because he if I have herpes and I'm saying yeah I want to I have it, I want to sleep with you, and the girl's still like yeah I don't care. I mean you take medication for it, it's not deadly, I'm not gonna die from it like AIDS in the 80s or whatever. That would be different. People probably would be like I'm good, but this is a treatable thing, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like you take medicine, and that's what it is. So if I tell you, hey, I have it, and then you say, hey, I don't mind if because it's still a chance you might not get it, you could get it, however the case, however that works, and there's medicine, and you say, hey, I don't mind, which I'm pretty positive because of who he is, and people like him, and people think he's attractive, all that type of stuff. People would
Right.
be still wouldn't care. They would be like,
Yeah,
I don't
because
care.
Magic Johnson was still
So,
getting it after he had what he had. So
so
I'm just saying, but I'm just saying there's so many doubts there though. Before I had to take my phone call. I'm sorry about that, you guys. But what I'm saying is there's so many doubts there though, Dom. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people. How many people we know or we see with herpes, with cold sores, right? And you testified to that. So we don't know if you a person that have cold sores. I'm just simply saying, and I understand what you're saying, and I really don't care, but I'm just simply saying there's so many doubts there that how you can do and transmit. it. I know a young lady who gave herself. The reason I'm saying I know somebody who gave herself genital, herpes because she had a cold sore. And if
Spitting
you look,
fire. Can I just say this real quick? Andre Core says y'all are on here playing lawyer and doctor. You have the right to your opinions, though I vehemently disagree with your stances in this case. I don't want to see your channel taken over spreading that misinformation for a couple things. One,
Oh God,
we're not
really?
lawyers. Yeah, we're not
Really?
lawyers. We're not lawyers or doctors. We've never said that. For two, we simply read the document, the actual document, what the lawyers put in, and this is our opinion. You have a right to your opinion. This is our opinion. We aren't playing anything. So that's inaccurate.
Hey, man, did he just threaten that a channel gonna be taken down because somebody gave him?
Come on now.
I'm going
Y'all
to
tripping.
wait a minute,
Dom, you live in California. I'm personally gonna bring you your diploma.
wait a minute, do you well see y'all should do what I do, like I said on Travel the World. I'm going to study some people and it's gonna be for science. But anyway, uh people, don't you got your disclaimer up? Because you got people out here that's like that person in that chat. You got people out here that believe that what you saying, your opinions, and you got to actually say a disclosure because you got people that is just one track mind like that person. Unfortunately, you got to say a disclaimer. We're not lawyers or doctors. We're
None of
reading
us are.
transcripts from actual lawyers, okay? And this channel and this panel is for comments, conversation, commentary, and opinionated comments only,
And it's
okay?
entertainment.
And it's for entertainment. It's sad that you got to say these disclaimers, like, but people are, is everything is not a given, Don. Everything is not a given. Like you were born with that gift. I was born, Sylvia, Travel the World, and all other people except for him in the chat. But some people you got to, you know what I'm saying? There is Special Olympics for a reason, Don. Everybody ain't in the regular Olympics. Everybody ain't in the regular Olympics, Dom K.
You crazy.
All right. So I need you to understand.
Yeah, I do. I'm just,
I'm gonna
sometimes
mute.
I like
I'm
to,
gonna mute. I'm gonna
you
mute.
guys address these people because they just they don't get it.
We
You know what I
do,
mean?
Sylvia. We do have Special Olympics.
Yeah.
The Special Olympics is real. You can do it. Run, Katie.
Y'all crazy.
I told y'all when Spitfire is supposed to change it in the chat, what you say. I told them the other day that.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Fire, don't unleash the dragon. Don't unleash the dragon.
I told them don't do that. When I'm on the panel and in the chat, watch what you say because if you say something crazy, I'm gonna strip you.
Yeah, you will.
Especially it don't make no sense. Somebody got it the
Bring
other
out
day,
that fire.
Sylvia. They got it the other day. They said something about you doing something for money. Well, I looked around and like, nah, is money? Can getting money a crime? Like,
Okay. This person.
Oh my
okay.
God! Wait!
She said, I'm speaking of your commentary on herpes. YouTube is snatching channels over health misinfo every day. Ivan Franco. Again, I don't agree with your stances. However, I think you have the right to say your piece. And Andre Carr. That's not misinformation. This is in the paperwork.
Nobody's giving any medical information. He just read something and people giving their opinion. We have a right. We are American citizens. We have a right to give our opinion.
Straight up.
Not one person said, "Oh, I am a medical field and I have the expertise." None of us said that.
Never said that.
you know what? I'm not gonna sit up there and justify it.
And again, if you don't like it, then exit the chat. I mean, I'm just confused. No one's forcing me to watch it. Like, I mean,
first of all, before you exit the chat, we would like for you to understand what that means. First of all, because we don't want you out here saying the stuff you saying, and you think you're not having full comprehension. You got to comprehend stuff before you challenge stuff. That way, even if you have a difference of opinion, it's valid. You can't be sitting up there saying stuff and you ain't even got a full comprehension of what's going on.
I declare you stupid. I do not. Dom K does not have herpes. Okay, but
They probably
I'm.
came in on the end of the video.
That's what they do, Travel. That's what they do. They come in on the tail end of the video, catch the last few minutes, and then want to comment about it. You got to go back to the beginning of the conversation so you would know whenever you say something, it makes sense.
Okay. Look, they said not the motions. You said herpes can be transmitted from your mouth to your genital. For one, me personally, I did not say that.
No, I
Those
said
are
that.
two
I said
separate
I
types of
know
herpes,
someone.
period.
I said
So,
that I know someone, and I said you got to be careful because, for one thing, when it say like it is given that if you kiss somebody with a cold sore, it can be transmitted. We know
Bro,
this.
what? Miss Melanie, I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. I didn't even know you were
Just
talking
Melanie,
to
go
me.
ahead on because ain't nobody finna sit up there. You've been living in a bubble. Go ahead on. Go on.
You
The
know,
church
and
got
even,
on.
but spitting fire. Even if you said that, right? When you said that or whatever, you could spread it from the mouth to the genitals. Either way, there's two types. It's if it's type 1,
Right.
type 2, type 100, that's still herpes. It doesn't matter which type it is. It is. So what she's trying to say is that you're mixing up the types, but that's irrelevant. It's all the same thing.
it's all herpes.
Yeah,
It's
it's all the
right.
same thing. I mean, come on now. And she's not a doctor. Now, if she
And
was a
I'm not a
doctor
doctor.
saying that, that would be an issue. You see
Right.
what I'm
I'm not a
saying?
doctor. I
She's
never
not a
claimed to
doctor.
be. And then
So,
I have enough people to know that they know I am not a doctor.
right. And then Miss Melanie, I don't know. I
He's
mean,
a slayer.
if you're sexually active,
You know
that's
what,
a
Travel?
way to get it. I mean, that's just, you feel me? Like, that's how you would get sexually transmitted disease, by having sex. So I don't know how you got it.
Well, there are
Or
diseases that are spread through touching, okay?
right.
Whether it's sexual, kissing, or whatever. There are things that are spread through touching. So we're not going to give people the misinformation that on the general stuff that we do know as adults, that there are things out here that can be spreaded. We know this. Just like COVID is airborne, it can be spreaded. We know this. We got that general understanding. So we're talking on general understanding, things that they have already put out here to warn people who live everyday lives, adult lives. Is that
Okay.
understood?
Yeah, I see
Thank
exactly what
you.
you're saying. Jessica Powers, she said, well, if they knew he had a disease, why sleep with him and try to play sex activities and then continue and what more and more, no disrespect. I appreciate your comment, but like I said a little bit ago, it's R. Kelly, and even normal people. If you tell them, hey, I have this, they will still rock with you.
Some people
So
will
And
have
even
that's
jump
not,
in the ocean.
come on now. Like let's not be, you think just because you have herpes that you're never gonna get a person ever in your life. Come
Well,
on now.
if that was the case, Geronda
Come
would
on
be
now.
pregnant 5 times.
Come on now. I mean, like let's
Geronda
just think
said she
realistically.
got it and she pregnant 5 times. Ain't this baby number 5 for Geronda?
I don't even
Okay?
know.
How you have sex, Dom K? What you mean you don't know? You know
No,
about
I'm
the
saying, what do you
disease,
mean,
don't
baby
you?
number 5? I don't know how many kids she has, is what I'm saying.
Oh well, I know they said something. Didn't they say this about her 5th one?
Probably.
Well,
She's
anyway,
sexually active.
she got more than 3. Okay, put it
Right.
that way.
She got a lot of kids though.
Yeah, she got a lot of kids. So my thing is, and she's claiming to have herpes. So I'm sure they're not going to the sperm bank and doing
Man, these
artificial
people crazy.
insemination for her to get pregnant. I'm sure
So
she's doing it the old
she
fashioned.
putting her child in danger.
Uh, I can't speak to that. I'm just going off of what I read today, and that is, again, literally, I was just telling you guys what the defense team of Kels put in the motion, and I read it, and then I was
Well, they
just
just
breaking it
motion.
down in a brief synopsis of what happened. So if you don't like my opinion about that particular part, because there's 3 parts that I spoke about the herpes, that's on you. I mean, I just don't know what to tell you, but that's how I feel. You can feel your way and keep pushing. That's it. That's all. I respect it. I'm just going off what I heard and read and seen. So be it.
But when they put this motion in?
Uh, Today, I believe. Today or yesterday, one of the two.
Oh, okay.
I
Now,
think
so
probably tonight. Yeah, or like midnight of today. I think it was put in. Sylvia probably would know. I don't know, but
well, I want to see. I want to see how this judge figure out a way to flamingo her way on under this. I want to see this.
right. So did you catch what I was saying? Like what basically what happened in the motion, or you didn't catch that?
I don't think I caught it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's three parts of it, and one is obviously, so this is R. Kelly's defense team. They put the motion in, right? And so the one part they were saying about the bribery, and that was basically saying that I mean, essentially that Demetrius was the one who did this on his own recognizance, and Daryl McDavid, R. Kelly, had nothing to do with it, so that charge should be dropped. And then they also said about the herpes is that um I'm gonna go back to that one. I have a headache about that, but the other one was about the minors, and it was if you knowing like, so basically they're saying that they use like case laws and whatnot and broke everything down in the legal terminology, but basically that in his mind he didn't know that they were under the age of 18, and in that instance um he shouldn't be held responsible as for that, because in his mind he didn't know, and they lied to him, and in legal term, but that he didn't know, and the charges should be dropped, because he didn't know. It wasn't like he was like, oh, you're this age, cool, boom, I'm gonna have sex. It was like he didn't know they had sex allegedly or whatever, and then that's what it was. And then regarding the basically the herpes is that, again, it had to be willingly, knowingly, and intentfully. He had to give it with intent. So boom, I have herpes and I don't tell you. I'm gonna go hook up with you, and we just start having sex, and I don't tell you that I have it. So that's what they're saying, and which is very difficult to prove, and so that's why they're saying it needs to be dropped. You can't prove
Well,
that,
she not gonna
and
drop that the second one for sure. She not gonna drop that one because she let more folks come in and testify. So I don't see her dropping that, because if that's the case, that's the bulk of they got doggone case.
right.
That's the bulk of their
Yeah,
case. I don't see her dropping that. This biased judge, oh no, she'll go.
I'm
She
with
going
you.
taking it all the way to the end, and hopefully the jury is smart enough to say not guilty, even beyond her instructions on what
Well,
she's going to give them.
right, and it wasn't necessarily. I don't think it's. I mean, because we're already basically at. I mean, it's the defense is about to raise their case. I don't think it's necessarily to drop it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow trials like that, but I would assume that charges probably don't just get dropped out of the blue. I think it was more so to bring the case law side and show that in other instances that this is the law, or it's happened. That they wrote, this is the law, this is the what happened, and then this is what actually the case law, what happened with
Well, they
that.
doing that just in case he
So
get found guilty. Just in case he get found guilty, because that's a possibility that can happen. We got to be realistic.
mhm.
If he get found guilty, they can show that they put these things in there for grounds of appeal,
Right,
because these people testified to contrary to what the government is saying, and this was the government's witness.
right,
So yeah, so there will be grounds on their appeal, because if it goes to the Supreme Court, because the appellate court is just like the regular court to me. I ain't never seen her. I don't even really see the appellate court overturning anything. But if it goes to the Supreme Court, they're gonna be like, okay, well, if this was the prosecution's witness and he's saying this and he testified to this, then why didn't the judge throw it out, or better yet, instruct the jury not to disregard this? You know what I mean? But
hmm,
you got to, because judges make mistakes, but they don't. They say forget it. I'm gonna do all I can do to be biased as I can sometimes. And if they want to sit up there in the appeal, they're gonna have to go through a higher court because I'm not doing it. And that's just how they doing things. You know what I mean? But then it looks bad when you get something overturned from your court. You know what I mean? It's a gamble to take, but it looks bad. Look how, you know what I mean? People mad at Bill Cosby for getting his stuff overturned, but it shouldn't have been. You know, you can't have a man detained and your witnesses is falling apart. And these are the people who you went and gathered to substantiate your the accuser's claim. You know, Demetrius was only on Surviving R. Kelly to sell his book. It was an opportunity. He wrote a book. It was an opportunity because he was working with a megastar. You know what I mean? Now he's
Right.
working, driving Lyft or Uber now. You know, from working with a megastar. So he doing what he can. He
Right.
wasn't going to risk perjuring himself. Then he made sure he got immunity because he was not going to go back to jail. He was not going to
Right.
perjure himself for them. He was the smartest one of all. And then once he said he got immunity, he said, F you. And that's what he did. And I said that's what he was going to do. On my live, I said that's exactly what he was going to do. If I was them women, I would do the same thing. I would have made sure I got immunity, and then I would say, screw you. I sure would have, because ain't nothing you can do. You know what I mean? That was smart. That's somebody who's been in the system a long time and know what to do. You know what I'm saying? The other one, I don't want to be here, but I'm here, or whatever. One fainted and fell out and had a nervous breakdown. You waited till the day of to have a nervous breakdown. You done won all these talk shows, if this who it is, and I believe it is, talking all your crap for 2 years. It's time to testify, and you crack up. I'm done. Because I ain't buying that crap either. I ain't buying that.
Damn.
So, I'm not buying that. Mental health is real, but I'm not buying that. You ain't crack up last year. You ain't crack up when you was accused, or they accused of you was being abused. But the day that it's time for you to put him, you can have your day in court. You want your day in court. You want to be heard. You crack up. Okay. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done playing games. Because if I was the feds and they was really on their mission, I'd start rounding them up. I really would. Because it would be a breaking story. I would start putting some silver bracelets on everybody. The way they made a mockery of this court and a mockery of them, I would. I really would.
Okay, so you weren't here yesterday, right?
No.
Okay, so did
I
you
dropped in
see?
as soon as I said hello, I dropped out.
Okay, did you see the Diana Copeland interview on ABC?
I didn't see none of that. I didn't see anything yesterday. When I say I was busy and sleep the
Okay.
half the day, I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask what was your take on that? Yeah. So that
No.
was yesterday. Yeah. So she basically she went on. Well, she obviously she testified, and then she went on I think ABC, NBC, one of those networks, with Michael Strahan, and she basically said that she never, because she was part of booking flights and things of that nature, and she said she never booked a flight for an underage girl. She never seen that, um, and I mean that's basically what she was, basically it was a good interview. You should check it out for sure.
And did she testify to that?
Yeah, yeah. On the stand, she was saying, I forgot, but she gave
Yeah, she
a
testified to
very
that on the stand.
yeah. Sylvia,
She
you
said
tell
she
her.
never seen. I'm working.
Oh.
In between calls, I have to come in. Sorry. Yeah, but she did say it. She did also said that Mr. Kelly never abused anybody. Then they started saying, well, didn't he verbally abuse you? Didn't he make you cry? She says, yeah, but then the mechanic turned around. Didn't the prosecutor make you cry when they were asking you questions? She cried then. So she's just a person that cries. She's very sensitive,
Well,
regardless of
well,
who it
well,
was.
well, well, fussing and abusive is not two different things. Like I have a right, like Dom K, I have a right to fuss at you. I have a right to fuss at you. Sylvia, Randa, we fuss at you. Do you feel we abuse you? Well, don't you answer that. Don't you
He
Nah,
answer
said,
that.
"Yeah."
Never mind.
I'm
He
Never
grown.
feels
mind.
I abuse him.
Never
He said,
mind.
I'm grown.
parental abuse for me.
Never mind. Never mind.
Nah, I'm grown. That ain't abuse. And if I don't like,
You
look,
know,
me personally, this is me personally. If I don't like any, this is with anything. If I don't like the way someone act, whatever, I might address you, whatever. But I'm just not gonna rock with you or support you or watch you or like if I don't like someone's channel, I'm just not gonna watch it. If I don't like the behavior of someone or some of the ways treating me, I'm grown. I'm just gonna not deal with you. So
Me too. I
that's why
remove
I'm
myself from that area.
right.
yeah, you just remove it. I mean, you might address it, but after that, you just like, I'm good.
But what I'm saying is the people who you rock with. Like if y'all fuss and you like each other and love each other and you fuss sometimes, that's true. That happens. And sometimes it be a blow up. But does that always constitute abuse? No. It
Right.
just means
I
that
feel
there
you.
was a blow up, a disagreement, heated disagreement, a fuss or a verbal fight or whatever else. But I'm not abuse. Like nobody's that weak. You're not that weak. You're
Husband and
I feel
wife
you.
do that, girlfriend and boyfriend do that. You know what?
not. Yeah, like that's not
I feel you.
abuse. Even if I say cuss words, well, that's not abuse. I mean, some people we just say we call everything abuse today. You know what I mean?
Right.
We call
And
everything
people have
abuse.
to
Like,
distinguish too, and like the jury, they're gonna have to distinguish that and understand that him cussing at you, you F and B. I mean, he could be saying the worst thing in the world. He could say anything. That is not a crime. I mean, I could cuss you
No,
well,
out,
but
and
I'm
it
maybe
not
it's
is,
not
that
a crime.
y'all. Hold up,
People have
hold
to
up, hold,
distinguish
hold
that.
up, hold up.
Stop being so gullible.
That is verbal abuse sometime if somebody call against your
Yeah, you're
character. You
right.
know that with children, because I've dealt with children who have been verbally abused by their parent. It does
that's
traumatize
not
children.
that. It's not that though, Sylvia. We
I
talking
get
about
it,
I would,
but
verbal
but
I'm
but
just,
abuse.
I'm just saying, I'm just.
But
We're
I'm
I
just
grown
still just
people.
don't think you could go to jail for that, in my
But what
opinion.
I'm saying, what I'm saying
I
is,
mean,
there are people who are verbally abused, and I'm not saying
yeah, of
when you have
course.
somebody.
That's the
If
thing.
I
Yeah.
said like me, when I turn into the dragon on some people, right? And I said you're stupid, I'm verbally abusing you. I'm trying to, because I don't like you. So I'm fighting you with words. But if I'm supposed
Right.
to love you and I'm saying these things, that's verbal abuse. But that's not that. If I'm just
Right.
mad and I'm going off because I'm mad. I have a right to be mad. And every time I get mad and I'm saying something you don't like, or you cursing, you verbally abusing me, you stop being so weak. Stop justifying people being weak. You that damn weak.
And
Don't
yeah.
doggone weak. Don't live then. Go somewhere else.
And
Go to the
yeah,
night
and
sky or
two,
something.
yeah, no, you're right. And another thing too is controlling. Like at this point, we know R. Kelly's very controlling, but that still is not a crime in my book.
So's my
I
husband.
just don't.
So's my
You know what I
husband.
mean?
He
Like
can be.
everybody
My
is
husband tries
controlling
to
to a
be,
certain
but guess
extent.
what? I do what I want to do. He tries to be.
Right.
He tries. I mean, I think sometimes it's in a man's nature to try to be
Yeah.
controlling. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
Like he's
Especially
the
if you're
man.
my woman, I'm gonna be
You know
like
what I
that.
mean? Yeah, and sometimes we have to put y'all in y'all place, but it does it constitute you need to go to jail? No. It means
Right.
that people
And they
behave
say the man's supposed to be head of household.
but
Yeah.
sometimes it just means that people ain't but it's up to you to know how far you want to allow him to go. Like it's so far that not just my husband, but anybody I'm with on how long. Like sometimes you say some things I'll take it in consideration. Sometimes when you say you don't want this or this and that, if I feel like I'm gonna do it and I'm strong headed about it, it's gonna get done. and ain't nothing you can say about it. Now I'm not that weak to where every time you say something, I'm just not gonna do it. Because if he's that controlling, you didn't mind because you was taking that 5 grand a month.
And you
Right.
can't call that controlling if you let them do it.
Yeah, you let them do it. Like we gotta stop. We gotta stop pampering this victimhood for real. This is not what we want young black girls to be. You know what I mean? Like we want them to be like, if you headstrong about something, you feel good about something, and you really want to do something, you stand your ground. I don't want to teach my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I want her to be respectful, but I don't want to teach you to be no punk, mentally or physically, by a man or a woman. I don't want to. I don't want
And
to teach. I don't think we should be teaching our young folks that. Everybody claiming victim too much for me, and that's not cool. And it don't look good.
I think too, what a lot of it comes down to, with R. Kelly is that, um, I mean, just from going off of, as is, testimony and the way she, things she said versus, for example, Hallie. I remember listening to both of them, and they both said this basically, and I've never seen them like talk together. I'm just saying in interviews and things like that, that basically, why Hallie left him was because she couldn't do the multiple women that he wanted. He wanted to have multiple girlfriends. She couldn't do it. She wanted to be the main one, the only one. Same thing with Az, and I'm sure with all the other ones as well. Like, so it seems to me, women are jealous. They're just
Yeah.
naturally,
After a
that's
while,
how women are.
either they agree with
Men are
something.
too, but
But
women
Diamond, you are
is
right.
next level,
You are
you
right.
know.
Here's the thing: we will initially agree with something just to get in. Like I could see how the girls, um, you know, got into this and agreed to it because he's a minister. But then when that fame all wore out and he just lied and he's giving them money and they doing this, I can see how one of them like, okay, now I want to be the main one. Well, I want to be the main one now. You know what I mean? I want to X all them out. And it's always
You
women that
sound
think,
muffled, Fire. Sorry.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's always one that thinks that they stuff is the best or they stole his heart, that they gonna come in and then he's gonna X all them out. If you really think about it, when they testified, they all were still in challenge of each other for his affection. Just think about when Faith testified. She testified the joy was unkept. Really? He giving them 5,000 a month. When we seen her 4 years ago on TMZ, she was Gucci down. She was not unkept, but she threw a shot at her on the stand. They still competing with each other.
See,
You
there
know what
you
I
have it.
mean? You know,
And even one of the I think one of the employee, I can't remember who it was, but they said that the women always wanted, it was always a constant battle between, they wanted to one up each other and get his attention. They always wanted his attention.
yeah,
And
he
I mean,
should have.
he's
You
only
know what he
one
should
man.
have did?
So
He should have did a flavor of love. He
That's
should.
why they telling on each other. They telling on
man,
each other.
He should
for
have did
real.
a flavor of love. R. Kelly's whatever. He should have did it. Made millions off of it, and then this would have all been eliminated.
For real. I feel you.
Not for
He
real.
should
I
did
think
something
it
like, he
would.
should did something like you have like he should have made like a show of it or something. That way
Like
people
The
are like,
Bachelor,
oh,
yeah, how they compete with it, because that's all he was. And he was
right.
living it for real.
Right, he really was though.
He was really living it.
That's
Now they got mad at him.
that just seemed to me like a very, 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 very toxic environment to me. Like that was just like damn, like he can't even focus on what his daily shit is, just all or stuff. Sorry. His daily stuff. It's just so much just always going on. Like when he was like on the interview when he said when you are, he's like, how about when you, he was like, I know why. When you are Kelly and your name ringing all over the world million times a day, I'm like, dang. And then on top of that, not even blogs and all that, then you got your own stuff to worry about, your music, traveling, radio, you dealing with multiple women. Like, that's too stressful. I don't see how that could ever work, in my opinion. I just, that's crazy. Like, I would be stressed out dealing with all that, trying to balance all that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially
Right.
with if the women are okay with it, like, hey, you got 4 women, I'm cool with that. And there, it takes a certain type of woman to be like, yeah, I'm with that, you know. But ultimately, I think it still boils down to, they're always going to be jealous of one another
Yeah.
because he's
But
only one person, so he
but
can
but
only
but but
spend,
Dom, but
you know.
Dom, but Dom, remember, Az made a song or came out and told somebody or was fussing at somebody or something. You guys remember better than me. When she said she was wifey. Remember that? She was talking to
Right.
one of the girls. They still in they competition with each other. They still in competition with each other. That's all that is. And they want that. And I was like, he gave me herpes. Well, he gave you that golden tip
Look,
for real, because he got
uh,
all
uh,
y'all out.
also too, just going back to the controlling part, right? My thing is this: me personally, if I'm gonna be controlling you, right? If I'm gonna be controlling my woman, um, and Uber rides and all this cash, I'm not gonna give you $5,000 cash every month because that tells that you can go do whatever you
Put it
want.
on the bed.
You see what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be controlling you, I'm not giving you no money. I'm controlling every aspect. Okay, you want an Uber ride? Boom. I'm ordering it right now on my phone. You need gas? Okay, when you get to the gas station, I'm gonna cash app you the money. Like that type, or I'm gonna give you the money before you go. You're about to go to gas. Okay, here's $50. Like that would be, to me, in my mentality of controlling, like, obviously there's different types of ways. I'm not saying that he wasn't or whatever, but because I think he is, but controlling. But what I'm saying is that it's just crazy that he was giving these women 5,000 a month, and they're making it seem like they couldn't do anything. They couldn't leave when they wanted. They were, you know, locked in room. Like I just don't understand that. And then you have a phone. Like if you were uncomfortable, you could dial 911 right then and there. And even if you hang up, once you dial it, 911 will call you back multiple times. They could see where you're at and all that. They will see. And let's say you call 911
Well,
and
it's
and
gonna
you
be
don't
hard.
answer. I mean, they
That's
might
gonna be
even
hard
just
to
pull up.
prove, Dom. You getting
What's
five
that?
thousand a month? Shoot, Dom K.
As I'm
I don't
saying,
know about you.
5,000 a month. That's more than the average American.
I'm gonna ask R. Kelly when he get out. Can do he like big women? Cause I need that 5G. I know how to protect
Hey,
myself. I be I
I said
take
it
the
earlier.
heat. Yeah, I
Earthquake, the comedian dude, he said if anybody ever accused me of messing with underage or whatever, I'm coming with a group of Miss Aunt Pearlies.
I can't get him
I'm
in there,
coming
but
with grannies everywhere.
I use some latex gloves and some lotion, and I can get him up that way.
R. Kelly said in his song, he would wonder how his friends would treat him if he wasn't, iced up with a Bentley in the house. How
Right,
would his
Right,
friends treat him?
right. And he
right,
got a point. I mean,
We see
I
we
I
see how they
believe that.
treat him.
right. We see. Right
Yeah.
now how they treat you. You know how they treat you now. You know, like nobody.
Deidre, stupid.
Shoot,
Right.
shoot. I
Hey,
think that I can't do nothing sexual with them, but I sure can use that 5G. There's other stuff I can do.
I'm just like, man, he had a big payroll. If he, I mean, you paying all this type of money.
5G's a month. No wonder they ain't go no doggone where. No wonder
Right.
they ain't go nowhere.
I wouldn't.
But not only that though, you getting 5,000 a month, and on top of that, You're going all over. You don't have to pay for anything while you're there. He's buying you bags, clothes, all that. So really, I mean, you're probably making 100,000 a year to do. I mean, just to be his girlfriend, which is
When he get out,
way more
y'all
than
gonna
the average person.
when he get out, y'all gonna put applications in for jobs.
I am. I'm put
Who? Not
application in.
me. No,
I'm gonna show him what it's.
I don't get down
I'm
like
gonna
that. But
show him. I'm
you
gonna
know,
show him how it's done. I ain't gonna be like that. I ain't gonna be no girlfriend. I'm too old for that shit. But
How
I'm
a
gonna.
real friend's supposed to be.
But I will.
nah. I'm
I
gonna
will
just pray
tell
for her.
him. I will
That's
tell
all.
him. I will tell him. This is what you did wrong, bro. This is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. You supposed to eliminate these people. Nobody get no second chance. You shouldn't be so accessible. Better yet, we gonna take you overseas where you can still make your millions. You know what I'm saying? We done over here. I would.
That's okay. Okay, Sylvia Edwards. Oh my God, yeah. So that was what I was trying to say earlier, and I was thrown off. I completely forgot because we were discussing the motion. She said most women who are actually abused, the abuser does not give them money. That's why they stay so long until they can make a plan to leave. The tricks have money. That's right. So, not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying the majority, probably, I would say probably 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times when someone's, the abuser and all that stuff, the person who's being abused can't leave because they have nowhere to go. They don't even have $5 to their name. They don't even got a bus ticket. They don't have a family. They don't have an apartment on their own. They don't have a vehicle. They have none of that. So that was what I was trying to say earlier, and I forgot. Was that exactly what you just said? And so I feel like that's another thing that's why it's hard for me to believe that you were forced to stay when you were getting all this.
Well,
With
they
five
said
thousand
they and
dollars, you could do a
they
lot.
said they wasn't forced. They said that. They said
Right,
that they could come and go when they want to. That kills
right,
all the other stuff you talking about. Then why again? Don, that goes back to me saying, why the heck we here? Why we here?
right.
You said initially they said that they were starved, held hostage. He was a bit. Why we here? You know what I'm saying? Shoot, if I was
Right.
the prosecution, the government just prosecuting this case on ego.
Yeah.
That's all, not any facts. And the government shouldn't have no ego towards no one individual, because you still a government for them too. That's the thing people don't understand. You know.
Yeah,
Now I'm
it's
sitting up here
crazy. So
unpacking,
we just
y'all.
gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what's up this week. What do you think about because I gotta go at 3. It's 2:38. But so what do you think? Who do you think they're gonna call to the stand? Who do you think?
Well,
Just
for one,
from your opinion. It's not true. This is not true. It's just your opinion. Who do you think
that's
will be a
just a
good
shame
witness?
you got to say
Rhonda's sister.
that. The Clarys,
Geronda's friend.
the Clarys. I'll make them the prosecution witness. I mean the defense witness.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
sure
that's what I'm talking
will.
about. So this week is the defense. So I'm saying if you were the defense team, who would you call?
The Clarys.
The
I
Clarys?
know what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Elaborate on that fire.
Because I will call the Clarys. I'll be like, so you said your daughter was held hostage, right? Mm-hmm. Let them testify. And you wrote this letter and things, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so how long she stayed with him? Yeah. And you called him her better half in prisons, right? Her better half, not her rapist. Mm-hmm. And isn't this you doing an interview with a blogger? Mm. And because you believe he was guilty, right? My client was guilty, right? Mm. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we see. Let's see here. Let's see. So, are you the father or the stepfather?
And then while attorney Fire is on there doing the while attorney Fire is on there doing the question and cross examining, Then R. Kelly steps in and says, "La da 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 da, la da."
What? That's right. And did you know that your wife drove her across state lines when you was on Gail King? Did you know this?
Okay,
What you
I'm taking a reach here. This is a real reach. TK,
I can't see the chat, y'all, so I don't be knowing what y'all talking about.
what you think, Dom? You know who I'm talking about, right?
Talking about Tasha K.
Yeah, that's a reach.
Don't even get
Mm,
into it. All that was
I
supposed
just
to do
what would be your, if I'm asking you, so
Be-
what would be the goal as far as what do you think she could
because
prove? Like, what do you think?
because she was so against him in the beginning, but then comes to find, she get all this information. She's like, he could walk.
that's what I'm going with this. That's exactly what
Okay.
I was saying about what I would call Angelo and all of the defense. I will call the prosecution witnesses for my defense because they the ones who started this. They the ones who
So let's say you had to bring, because the prosecution, they brought 43, and I think it was supposed to be four, but they one person or whatever. So 43, right? Let's say you had to
43
bring
what?
witnesses. They brought
They did.
total of 43 witnesses. Yes. So who would, like, let's just say you had to bring 10. Who would be your 10? So Allison, Angelo. Who else? That's two.
Tasha K.
Okay, that's three.
Um, Let me see. Tasha K.
I
The
would say
parent, the
the other
Garvin R.
parents.
Kelly people, huh?
I would say the other parents. Um, Timmy,
I
Timmy,
wouldn't
and
bring
the other
Tim in
lady.
because he ain't even a case.
Oh,
He ain't
you're
even
right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
he ain't even a case. He
You're right.
just, he
You're
was
right.
trying to get his money. He what his dumb butt did was he bought all this out in Harai, all
You're right.
this stuff, and he did this for recognition. And his daughter ain't even in the case, and ain't even got no civil suit. He helped, and if they do try to sue R. Kelly, he helped a whole bunch of folks get money. He didn't get a dime. Oh, big dummy.
Okay. So, okay. So I'll just, like, we could just kind of go, give our people as we go. I would bring in JP's the ex best friend. I will for sure bring her in. That's four.
Yeah, I bring her too.
Um, I would bring in the parent, the guy, and the son, probably the son, because he was the one that was actually speaking with her. The father was there, but the guy who came on Tyson's show, I think
Mm-hmm.
he was friends with AC. I
Yeah,
would bring
I
that son
bring
in.
Azrael. I bring Azrael.
Hmm.
I would.
That's
I
fine.
would
Yeah,
bring her.
and also too, yeah, you can still bring in. That's what the attorney yesterday of Diana Copeland said, that because I asked her, I said, "Will you has your client Diana Copeland been um is she going to be, excuse me, a witness for the defense?" And she said that they don't know yet. There's a certain date that they have to put the list in, and a witness can be used for the prosecution and the defense.
Yeah,
So
that's
any
your
of those
reasonable
people,
doubt right there. Because now the jury
right,
gonna be like, wait a minute, hold up. You was for the prosecutor, now you for the defense.
right,
It's just too much confusion. Like I would literally, if I was a juror, period, in any case, I would
right.
give people the opportunity to state the facts. But when there's doubt coming off the rip, I'm not going to decide what the facts are. That's not my job as a jury. Because if I have to, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to have to fight what is true and what is not. What I'm going to fight for is what has validity to it and everything else. And if things are just all over the place and it's all like these testimonies of Jane Doe 4 and 5 and Demetrius off the rip, that
Okay.
all it
So,
is reasonable doubt. And that
okay. I would not bring Demetrius as butt back. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. but I would definitely bring back AC. I would bring back JP.
I
I
would bring
would
back
bring.
Demetrius. He the first one I bring back. He'd probably be number 2 on the list. So you said my
Okay,
client
so
wasn't there.
Demetrius.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
said my client wasn't there when you got the marriage license and everything. You was brought no, he wasn't there at all.
right. Okay.
Or
So
even
that's
if he said
7.
he did, so I'm like, oh, you remember you testified a few weeks ago that said he did. Oh yeah, I would. He the main one I bring back.
Okay. Okay, so that's 7. I think he should bring in either Snoop Dogg or Tyrese because those are like friends of R. Kelly, but just to bring in the perspective of how, the quote unquote groupies work as a celebrity. Just so the jury can get an understanding that he's not, I mean, he's a human. R. Kelly's, he's human, but he has a different stature as far as from the fame and notoriety. So I think one of those, not two, because then it'll just be just over saturated. But I think one of them, probably Tyrese. I think he has a better like friendship or whatever. I also think. So yeah, the name was Bobby, I guess. I would bring in him. I would definitely bring in Diana Copeland. That's 10. And then who else you guys think?
Uh,
Someone said Asante's baby dad. I would say him, but she's not a part of the case, so I wouldn't. If she was a part of the case, I would say yes, but I don't know if that will help the actual charges.
no,
If that makes sense.
I bring in the one that had a nervous breakdown. I want to see if she gonna have another one.
Okay, so her.
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
be
that
like,
was Jane Doe 20, right? Jane Doe
yeah,
20.
I bring in Jane Doe 20
Okay.
for the defense because I want her to see if she gonna have another breakdown.
You know who I would bring in? Well, maybe I would have to see is Lil Dre. Pull Lil Dre. Because you're
Who?
not going to just and I would bring in Sparkles butt too because I think they trying to act like
Well,
they know
they didn't testify.
right, but what I'm saying is for the defense, we're talking about the defense's witnesses. They have to bring in their witnesses. They don't have to bring in anyone, but they're probably going to bring in some people. I was just saying, who would you guys call in if you were the attorney of him? Who would you call?
Mm, I wouldn't bring in Sparkle. I wouldn't bring in her. Not that I would be worried, but I wouldn't bring because she ain't testified. So I want to
You're
use
right.
their
You're right.
words against
I'm
them.
just right. I'm
I
just
want to
saying
bring in
because
people
she
who I
never
can use their
mentioned
words against them.
right. But what I'm saying is the reason why I probably wouldn't, but I was just saying because she lied and never said that she slept with R. Kelly. You
Well, she
know,
said in Surviving R. Kelly, actually, but she had
no,
to tell it. She didn't tell it
she did
originally,
not
though.
say that. She's never said she slept with R. Kelly ever. She
Oh,
said that's like a brother. I looked at him like a brother, and da da da. She didn't say she
she
left
left
her
her husband for
husband.
him.
That's what I'm saying. So
She left her husband for him. She didn't tell
right,
that
you
part.
just have to have the right questions with her. But I feel what you're saying. So,
She
but
felt she's been
maybe
holding on to this anger from him from a long time
right.
because
But see,
she,
also too, she was messing with him.
yeah, like
So
I'm supposed to be your woman. I left my husband for you, and you dumped
right,
me.
Cash.
And
Yep.
you,
I think I would have to think on that one, but potentially Cash Jones. Barry.
why Chris Jones?
No, you know who I would do? I would do. I ain't even gonna cap. I would bring in Aaliyah's mom. I
Yeah.
would. I
Hmm.
would. I don't know if
And
you
then
have
you know
to
who
or
else I
whatever, but
bring in? You know who else I bring in?
who else? Who else?
I would bring in one of the bloggers covering the case. I bring in
Spin
them.
flames. You gonna
I
bring in
bring
spin
in
fire in that
I
motherfucker.
bring in infamous Sylvia. She made the Chicago
Oh man.
Tribune and did the story and
I will
covered it.
call. You know who I'll call in? I'll call in
Mhm.
Randa.
You know who I call in? No, I ain't gonna say that. Y'all be like, okay, Spitfire, you've been drinking.
Man, I'm telling you, I think
I'd be like, do
they need
you
to
know
calm
this?
him
Do
down.
you know the defendant? No. You don't know the defendant, really, do you? I'll call in that person.
Right. Yeah, man.
I'm
So
calling
that's like 20
myself
right
too.
there.
You know why I would call myself?
Oh,
Because I would tell it all on Demetrius. I tell on
And
Demetrius.
I
that's what
know
I
you
told
would.
Infamous
You
Sylvia.
bringing all them videos and him singing, talking about he think he R. Kelly. You stupid mother. You dumb. You a rat.
He
You
called me
dumb
a
damn
rat.
rat.
Ah, did you show Infamous Sylvia? Did you show Demetrius a body part?
A booty.
Did you show him a body part, Infamous Sylvia? And how does that reflect my client?
That wasn't your client. It was the pervert at the beginning.
And Sylvia, I can see Sylvia like this the pervert right here. Demetrius pointing at Demetrius. That's the one right
Cause he,
there.
I'll be like,
cause
look,
he
hey,
told
look,
me the
when
girl.
I question him, I'll be like, Mr. Crack Rock, you had a kid by a 16-year-old allegedly while you
Exactly.
were 35, right? Is that correct? He'll be like, no. He'll be like, you just perjured yourself, Mr. Crack Rock.
Look, didn't you tell Sylvia that you was going to the
Well,
mall and picking up those little white girls? That's what he did. He told me that.
Then I would call in his sister and be like, well, didn't your sister say that you... No, I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, I would definitely call him for sure.
Y'all, he's got spooked when he heard I was coming.
He did. He hates you.
Yeah, cause he told them I'm a rat.
He can't stand you. If I could cuss, I would have mocked exactly what he said. He said some stuff, boy. That man was
So
hot. I trusted you, infamous Sylvia.
and I
You're
know
not
that's
good.
right.
Oh, I'm a rat.
And Infamous Sylvia, she the one, and then I can see Demetrius. She need to be in jail for making me think she gonna give me some.
I trusted you. And the anointing.
And Judge, can you make that? Could you order her to give me some?
all right, you beside yourself for spitting fire. We already know that. You're getting beside yourself, but too much now. Getting carried away.
That's what he gonna try to do.
Hey, look, cotton candy. I'll be like, look, Mr. McGee. You know what I mean? Now, did you say that you got the storage? You know what I mean?
Do
Nah,
Mr.
I'm playing. I'm
McGee
playing.
the storage?
Yeah, man. I
Hmm.
don't think he would be. I think he would be a great witness as far as telling, because he knows a lot about what, and because him and Angelo worked together for so long. I think he would be very important as far as the information. I think he knows a lot about Angelo and stuff. So I think that would be useful.
Yeah, all of
But
them. Sure, all them liars. All of them beating them went to jail for perjury. All of
right.
them. That would have been the
Yeah.
whole point
It's
of
just a
calling all
lot.
of them so they can go to jail for perjury. Put it on the record.
It's a
You know what
lot.
I'm
It's a
saying?
lot.
And debunk everything. Well, I would Demetrius wouldn't be because Demetrius is the only one that was trying to get immunity and say, I plead the fifth. I ain't telling y'all nothing. Forget it. They ain't gonna have him back
Right.
no way. They probably
I would like to see too. I really would. I mean, obviously that it's social media and it's so saturated, and the media. It's just a lot. We've seen a lot just dealing with this R. Kelly sector, and the videos and the live streams, and the evidence, and the accusers leaving comments in their posts, and them doing interviews, doing this. So it would be so much information to pull, to show to the jury. But I would definitely pull probably like five different uh uh things that contradict what they've said, as far as them liking his posts, commenting on them, or saying, at the interview, for example, Holly saying, she left basically because it just, it was multiple women, and never detailed anything else. Like, then, I mean, just things of that nature. I would definitely pull up as far as social media wise, stuff where they're saying they don't think he should go to jail, and things like that, to show the jury, like, look, this is how these people feel. This is what they've said, in within the last couple of years since surviving R. Kelly. I would also show the one, it's not, she's not charged, but Kitty, like I said before, on her jobs art flyer, she put, Kitty Jones, and then at the right below that, in parentheses, she's put from surviving R. Kelly. So clearly, they're trying to promote their own stuff off of, you know what I'm saying. So I would bring in elements like that to show this is that these people definitely had motive. That's how I feel.
Mm, yeah, my link dropped.
All right, guys, we're about to. I'm about to end this live because we got to get ready for reenactment because we're getting ready to go back to completing those transcript because we need to
Did they
catch
give
up.
you the? Did they give? Excuse me, Sylvia. Did they give you the rest of it? Because the last time I checked, I think you said something about the transcript was held up or something.
Yeah, we still need the highest travel the world coming back in. She's already in here. I've traveled the world in here twice, but she her device is not working. Um, the two, the lady sent me the invoice for the two. Okay, I see Linda Perry. I see
Oh,
travel the world.
Sylvia.
Yes, hon. Yes,
Also,
hon.
too, someone just made a good point. I would also bring in the lady who was the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly, and I would question them and say, "Did you ever confirm this? How did you confirm it? Do you have the proof of you confirming this type of stuff? Things that you're. Did you vet anybody? Did you background check anybody? Did you look up their social media? I would do all those type of things to really show that there's reasonable doubt and there's no proof, and they didn't vet these people, and things of that nature. So sorry, go ahead.
Well, they crazy. I would just call all them crazy folks to show how crazy them folks is.
But as I was answering your question before, knock
Sorry.
knock. Um, as I was saying, spitting fire. I got the email from the lady for the two from last week. It's available, and that one's like $536.40 for 2 days. And then this week one, I'm reaching out to because it's like we get it a week at behind. That's the way they're doing it to me now. So this week here, I'm sending out the email to that lady to get everything for this week. So the last week is going to contain Diane Copeland's testimony, and I think it was somebody else right before her. That girl, Javante, her interviews on there too. I think.
Yeah, somebody I see when I was dropped off, I seen somebody said in the chat, they said that they would call Larry. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Also, too,
God.
I also think too, just to wrap it up, I think that they should call in like experts and professionals to explain that it doesn't take you 12 times to understand that this is wrong, or things of that nature. So
I told you, Don K, we have Special Olympics in the world. Everybody ain't in the regular Olympics. Now you have to understand these things.
and then I will call in. This is gonna conclude for me, Mr. Bozo, just to ask R. Kelly if he knows him.
You're so stupid.
Oh my God.
See, Dom, you want to
No, Your
start
Honor.
trouble in this channel. You see, you want to start trouble in this channel. We
Oh
said we're
my
gonna be nice.
God.
You're gonna be like,
Dom,
no, Your Honor, I don't.
Dom,
No, I'm just
Dom. Did
kidding.
we say we're not gonna be nice?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
What we gonna be nice for?
We said we gotta be nice on this channel. Remember, we have people looking.
What they got to do with
No,
him saying
no,
what he said?
no, no throwing stones.
Oh, I'm just giving understanding why.
You,
That's
you gotta be
all.
good. Be good, y'all.
We being good. Well, I don't know. I don't know who that is
My bad.
anyway. I don't know who Dom K talking about anyway.
Okay.
So I know I'm being
Do I
good because
need to describe what he looks like? No, I'm just.
no, no,
Dom,
not at
Dom.
all. I don't need
I'm
no
just.
new friends, nobody. I don't know who you talking about. Nope, none. No, none of these people.
Spitting fire. Sylvia just said cover Cash Jones' book on your on your live.
You say what?
Sylvia Edwards just said cover Cash Jones' book on your live on your
Cover
page
her, cover her book on my live?
on your page.
No, never, never. Mm-mm. No, no, no. I am slaying the Me Too movement on my page. That's what I do. I advocate for men's rights. I don't give
Linda
time.
is having a hard time
There it
getting
is.
in,
Right.
y'all.
Who?
What was that?
Linda, she's having a hard time getting in. She's been trying to get in for the longest.
Oh,
Oh,
well, let me go
and
ahead
and
on and
I will
leave
I
so
will
Linda
call
can
in
get in.
logins.
Thank
No,
you
it's
for
that
letting.
is not going to stop. It takes up for 5 people. Stop. It's 10 people. Stop it.
Oh, well, I got to unpack because you know I got to unpack y'all. I've been on here in the room, laying across the bed, talking to y'all for about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
about
to
to
get
get
back.
off too, so I can get ready for the next
Yeah, and I
episode.
only got 35% of
Who is
battery life.
Linda Perry?
She's trying to get in.
Some of these people
I'm
I
confused.
don't know. But anyways, shout out to you,
All right, Spitfire.
Sylvia. Congratulations on your channel growth.
Oh,
Eh,
thank you, sis.
Nice.
I owe you big time because I was telling someone that you're the one that has helped me. I mean, you have been a great mentor, a great mentor. Some people don't
Thank
like
you.
what you tell me to do, but I can only use
It
you as
works.
it
Hey,
does.
It works.
Sylvia,
Hmm?
Spitfire will tell you to promote. Hit the cash app.
Yeah,
People
and let me
hate
tell
that.
you something. I want to close out saying this: make your money. Especially if it's legit and ain't nothing wrong with it, if people support what you're doing and everything else, if it makes money out there, and this is to all the chat, it makes sense. Don't never knock nobody hustle. If somebody is making money, those are the people you need to be around because blessings come down like raindrops. And if you get a sprinkle, you will be blessed too. Don't
Oh,
never let
preach.
nobody sit up there and justify why you making money. That is the craziest thing ever, especially if you're doing it legit, especially if what you're doing is not harming anyone. People
But see,
sell.
the thing is, can't even talk. Spitting fire. People don't realize how much sitting here all day, freaking long, getting on these YouTube, take up so much of your time
And
trying to
your so
find
much of your
information.
time, your energy, your utilities, and everything else. Ain't nothing free. And you people, you ain't free. We make the economy go around. You got to remember, we are a certain percentage of people, but we are the biggest consumer base in the world. And why not be a consumer base in your own culture? You can start today. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't let nobody make you don't let nobody make it seem like you're not giving the big companies
in
if
your
you're not
own.
giving nobody big companies your money that you are not you can't do it with your own people. You can spend money with your own people. It's okay. It's okay to do that. It's everybody can make money. It's gonna be a full circle. You gonna spend money and people gonna spend money back at you. So that's all I want to say. Okay, because we need to own some of this Wall Street. We need to put into our own communities. And by you doing that, it starts with the people in the mirror. It starts with supporting your own or whatever. What big companies had our money for quite some time, and then we support the elites for quite some time, and they told us screw us. They put other communities and organizations before us after we support them for so long. So now it's time for us to take back our power, and by doing so, is investing in us. All right, and not giving up. So I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. Take care. Fire out.
Fire out. All right, guys, I'm about to go and we be ready for tonight. I need my readers who's going to read. Send me an email. And don't forget, guys, you got to go ahead and send the cash for the transcript. We're short. We're short. You guys gotta. I hate beating y'all down for some money. Oh my God, it's just so rough. I don't like asking for money, especially for something especially for something y'all want. You know what I mean? Y'all want it because it's up. I'm at the point. Look, I don't care if you do it or not. But come on, y'all. Let's get these transcripts. It's only what 2 more weeks left, and we ain't got to buy no more transcript anymore. We'll be done.
Corey Simmons said there's a new motion.
We did it.
But
we did the
can
motion.
you check if there's another one though?
Dom, don't you think I have a thing that tells me when things come out?
Oh, I didn't know.
Come on now. You're talking with the wrong person now.
I thought you had to check. Okay. So he must have missed this live. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, y'all be easy. Take care. Just a recap. Yeah. Just go back and watch it. Y'all take care.